about contempt here. Before I bring in my next guest, I want to run through the options Congress has if they hold someone in contempt. So Congress could do one of three things after the vote. Try to get House security to arrest Barr, but that hasn't happened since the 1930s. They could refer the case to a federal prosecutor in Washington, D.C., but every federal prosecutor in the U.S. works for the Attorney General, so that's probably a non-starter as well. Or they could ask a judge to issue a civil citation, and there is precedent for that, as we were just talking about. The legal fights, they took years on that one. When Democrats held Bush White House counsel Harriet Miers in contempt, the fight lasted until Obama took office. And then what we were just talking about when Republicans held Eric Holder in contempt, the case was still going on when Trump took office. So it takes a very long time. I want to bring in Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin, who serves on the Judiciary Committee and was waiting for Attorney General Barr at the hearing this morning. Take me into the room this morning, Congressman, first and foremost, as you were awaiting Attorney General Barr and full well knowing he was not going to show up.
Well, it was a disappointing thing because we had watched the exchanges in the Senate when we could intermittently yesterday. And it's clear that Attorney General Barr has been exposed as a propagandist and self-appointed consigliere for Donald Trump at this point. When he received the report from the special counsel Mueller, it was pretty much ready to go. He could have gotten it ready and given it to us in 24 hours or 48 hours, which was pretty much the historical standard with prior special counsels and independent counsels. Instead, he began this three and a half week period of propaganda in which he tried to create an impression about what was in there, a false impression about what was in the report, and then to cement it in the public mind. And we are still trying to lift this thick fog of propaganda by bringing in witnesses, and they're trying to resist us and obstruct us on that. And we are trying to get the unredacted report as well as all of the underlying materials that go with it. And we expect that. And if not, we definitely plan to find the Attorney General in contempt. And understand, we don't have to go to court to start this off, and we don't have to get him arrested to start it off. We can find him in contempt in committee. If you act with contempt for Congress and our lawful powers, we will find you in of Congress and the rule of law. From the Judiciary Committee, it then goes to the House floor, in which case the House would vote as to whether or not he's in contempt. Everything that you mentioned was the question of enforcement.
So here's the big question for you, Congressman. Here's the big question for you. What is that going to accomplish, finding the Attorney General in contempt? What are you looking to accomplish there with that?
Well, look, what we have is an administration that is now engulfed in lawlessness and corruption, and we have to begin to check them at important points. The Attorney General theoretically should be on our side, but is not. He obviously has gone over to the side of the president and is cooperating in promoting the president's position now, which is that he will not cooperate with any subpoenas. He will not respond to any lawful orders or requests from the House of Representatives. That's obviously constitutionally intolerable, and Congress can't put up with it. So we have to make clear to the public and make clear to the whole system of government that the Attorney General is acting outside of the law. Then we have to proceed to get to the guts of the Mueller report, to bring those witnesses forward so America can hear.
Absolutely.
What
and you're bringing up a really good point here, because one of the, I think, directives here and the big questions here is, do we pursue the Attorney General until he provides testimony for the House? Or do we pursue the unredacted Mueller report along with testimony from Bob Mueller? Is that where we put our energy?
Yeah, well, I think that's where the focus has got to be. That's what we were going after. We're trying to determine whether or not the president committed obstruction of justice. There were 10 episodes of presidential obstruction or attempted obstruction, which were recounted by special counsel Mueller in the report. Obviously, the Attorney General did everything he could to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and to obscure that fact. And he pronounced himself basically the judge, the jury, the executioner, the Congress, and said there was no obstruction of justice. Obviously, we're disregarding that propaganda ploy by the AG. Instead, after what is actually in the report. We want critical witnesses to come forward and testify to our committee, including Don McGahn, the White House counsel who was ordered by the president to fire special counsel Mueller through Rod Rosenstein. We want to hear from him exactly what happened. We want the American people to hear what happened so we can get some semblance of reality. Really what we're after is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth here. And then we're going to decide what to do.
All right, Congressman Jamie Raskin, Jonathan Alter, you have a final word, Jonathan?
Well, I was just going to say that Congressman